Too many rides here. So yesterday I went for a shakedown ride, and when I got home, there was oil dripping. And there was quite a film of oil up on top of the motor here. Not a whole lot sprayed back. So it made me wonder about the banjo bolts up here and down there, since I had them both apart. One to put the temperature sensor on and the other one to bleed the oil pump of air. I checked those, cinched them ever so slightly. They weren't very loose. And there was not a tremendous amount of oil up here, although the whole top of the motor had a film. Under the motor was quite damp with oil in a lot of places under here. And oil back here on the frame. Oil dripping off the frame. So I've wiped that off. When I had the stator cover off to put the stator on, I used a new gasket with Honda sealant on there as well. So I feel pretty good about that, but in the past I've had problems sealing here, and I've had drips because of it. It makes me dread taking it apart. But I think that the problem is the Ricky stator wires are very small diameter, and I think oil's leaking right out of the holes in this rubber grommet. Or maybe I didn't get the grommet sealed good enough. In the past, I've had good results with a product, essentially gooping it on the outside here to stop the leaks. It actually was something that worked for me without taking the cover off and redoing the gasket. And again, I think it was coming out here anyway. Now there was oil on the drain plug, which is brand new as well. Brand new copper washer or aluminum washer with my special Teflon tape additive. There was a drop of oil on that, oil dripping off of it. I cinched it and was able to get a hair more, but I don't think that was the cause of it either. And there was oil up this way. So I really suspect this wire area. I'm going to address that. When I got back from the shakedown ride, I found out that my taillight wasn't working. And I've looked into that and am a little confused as to why. I took the bulb out, it's a good bulb, and I've had a bunch of wires apart, and I can feed it electricity and it works now. So I'm not sure what the problem is there. But my right turn signal in the back here isn't working. And when I feed that, the green wire is hot coming from the handlebar switch, but I just can't get any combination of wires to light that up. I can't get that to light up with kind of like a hot wire right on the back here. So I'm gonna have to look into that. I also found out a new thing I didn't know about the switch. When you shut, it's 4-position switch, and when I shut this down, it also kills the motor. So not only do you have a kill switch button, but just turning this switch off shuts your motor off. I'm not quite sure why, wiring wise, so I didn't hook it up to do that, but I'm gonna be able to live with it and have a key switch too for like when I go in the store. There's an ergonomic problem here. I have to have my compression release in the location it is just due to how crowded it is here, because I'm using a mirror on the clutch perch, so it has to be where it is. And what it is when this is turned on and I go to use this, it shuts it off. So I may try to rotate this, I may try to rotate this ever so slightly as well. I've already loosened it and sent it down as low as it can go. Maybe I can go a little lower, but I'm gonna have to resolve that problem one way or the other. So those are the things I'm gonna do today. Then I'll get out on another test ride. I noticed the oil leaking right when I was saying how great it was to have this back up and running, but you're bound to have some shakedown items. I'm going to take care of those and we'll see what happens after that. As you look at this, you can see where the wires themselves and in the hole where they're emanating, there's play. And the holes themselves have oil in them. I think that's the cause of it all right there. It's going to be a toughie to seal it up because all I can do is put goop on the outside. Had I been thinking better, I would have made preparations on the inside of that grommet before I assembled this. I don't think it's the surface here that's leaking. Yet, I'm gonna go ahead and put goop all the way around this thing. Kind of enclose it. We'll see if that solves the problem. Okay, so I've got the area that I think is the culprit gooped with seal-all. Previously, I've gone all the way up and down this gasket surface and been successful. However, I think it's the grommet in the first place. So I'm going to go with that this time, and we'll see if I'm successful. Hopefully, success on that one. There's nothing worse than a Honda that leaks. That's the worst thing. Too many rides here. There's nothing worse than a Honda that leaks. You should not have any leaks on a Honda. But this is an aftermarket stator, and that's the root of the problem right there. I've been through this before. I have successfully stopped the leaking. So here we go again. Next on the shakedown agenda is to figure out why the right rear turn signal isn't working. We've got a connector here that should be good, but maybe that's the problem. That's the most accessible one. So I'm penetrating the wire with a pin in order to get a connection. I already know that just plugging in the connector doesn't do it. It's hard to believe that the turn signal would be bad already. That's not doing it. Go directly to the battery here, and that's still not doing it. So I assume that the connector here at the battery box is good. And I've really got no other access points. I don't believe there's any kind of connection until you get underneath the bag here. So I'm gonna have to take the bag off. I'm gonna have to take off the taillight housing. Get to the bottom of this. I don't care what it is, just gotta fix it. So I was getting down to the bone here trying to figure it out, kind of moved back and forth a little bit, and there may have been one connection still hooked up, but I think one wasn't. And I didn't determine if it was the ground or the positive, but I'll have to make a new wire for that. Also, as I look at this, where the wires have to emanate from underneath the housing in the groove, it's possible this here area could have been the reason for my tail light to stop working, although it's working now. Consequently, maybe it got too hot there, I don't know, but I'm gonna make a relief right here for the wires to come out. Okay, Too Many Rides is here. I've put stop leak on the countershaft area at that grommet. Put that back together. It's set up enough to do a test run. And again, I found a busted wire right at the manufacturer's soldering joint on this LED signal. And I looked into possibly the ground, or the wire for the taillight was grounding out or something like that. And I made a relief here so it's a little better for wires to come out. I don't know that that was the problem, but taillight's working now. And I adjusted And I adjusted my handlebar switch down a bit. This will clear better without shutting it off. And I just adjusted the exhaust valve opener compression release because it wasn't really actuating hardly. That's pretty tough to do with this tank on here. I loaded up with tools because I'm going out, and this time I'll take my phone. But the main thing is to carefully check to make sure that we don't have an oil leak still. One thing I forgot to mention previously when I was trying to figure it out, I retorqued all these around this. I don't think it was that. I think it was coming out of the wires. So hopefully that shakedown has been productive, and Too Many Rides is going to be just that much closer to Too Many Rides. What we'd like to do is get out on the trail and meet the Turk. Too Many Rides here. Just got back from another shakedown ride. Everything I was working on was successful. Fixed it up nicely. No longer leaking any oil out of there. I adjusted the cable and got better action. I also moved this. I might want to move it back up. The cable adjustment may take care of that to where I'll actuate without having to go full range on that. I got 22 miles on 2K. Everything's dynamite. It feels good. It's great to have the adventure style bike back in my fleet, and I can now feel comfortable about putting the tank bags on, knowing that I'm not going to have to take the tank off or anything again. It's hideous looking, isn't it? Look what the tank bags did. An old tank. And I'd say we're up for a ride this weekend, regardless of any of the other Seventh Day Adventurists coming along. I'm going up to the high country. Probably should do a little more shakedown though. Starts first kick, runs great. Pretty happy with it. It looks like the 91, but that got decommissioned and now it's 2K. The adventures of 2K are just beginning. Stand by, keep your eye out for more 2K adventures, starting this weekend even. Too Many Rides here. Looking forward to the adventures of 2K, are ya? Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start a whole new playlist. 2K.